It feels like we've invited people into our house today. Just seeing like all the things that we never talked about.
This beer idea is a smart idea.
Right?
I like that.
Cheers to that.
Because that's like...
All right, welcome to the next episode of Over a Pint. This week we have two great guests. We got Mel and Brendan from the BREL Team down here in the Junction. So why don't you guys introduce yourself?
So we are a husband and wife team, and we've been doing this for, I guess it's about 10 years now. We're a team of 14 people, servicing Central Toronto.
But we're kind of two halves of the same brain,
Okay.
right? Like we always laugh that one of us, actually when we first met before real estate, we sort of said, well, between the two of us is a well-adjusted person. Because we're both extreme in different directions, and that's actually worked really well for work.
Balances out nice.
Yeah, anyway.
So you picked the beer for this episode, so why don't you let everyone know what we're drinking?
Yes, despite the fact that there are a lot of great breweries in the Junction, what I had available were this one from County Road Brewery, which we're big fans of Prince Edward County, so this is one of my favorite breweries in Prince Edward County. And this is their farmhouse saison, which is bottle fermented, so it gets a little fizzy, so we poured it out ahead of time because it'll explode otherwise. And then this is Good Lot. This is a friend of mine's brewery, actually. He just started this last year, and it is based in Caledon, and he started with the hops farm. So he actually grows all of his own hops.
Oh, wow.
The water's local, like it's all hyper local, and it's farm-raised beer is his shtick, because he's got an actual farm there, and the barn, which has solar panels on it, is the brewery, and they're aiming to be a fully solar brewery, and it's delicious beer. So.
And it hits the LCBO this month.
And that's right, they just got listed in the LCBO.
I was on a bit of an adventure today trying to find a beer for an episode we're doing this week. And it was like, oh, it's at this one. They went there, like, oh yeah, we don't have it. Then they don't have it. Then they don't have it. It's only at the Liberty Village Beer
Oh,
Boutique.
wow.
I think actually, technically, although Good Lot has a number as of like this week, I don't think you can actually buy it in any LCBO yet because it's that new. It's just got it's.
That's what I think was this beer I was looking for too.
Yeah.
All right,
So
well,
as we
cheers.
talk. Cheers.
Thanks for being a guest on our show.
Yeah.
Looking
I
forward
get
to
to
it.
drink beer in the afternoon. It's awesome.
That's good.
It's a solid beer.
Yeah,
Wow. There you go.
that works. So you've been in the business 10 years.
Yeah.
What did you guys both do before?
Ooh.
That was close.
We drank beer. We didn't meet over beer though.
We did.
So previous real estate, I was an HR director in the advertising world for 12 years. So the ad world was my, and still is really my game. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, we joke. My real career before real estate was travel. I was in the travel industry for like 10 years. Much of that I was a travel tour guide, so I was in a different country every month. So that was my adventurous part. And then out of that, I ended up doing a lot of copywriting, first in the travel industry, and then ended up in the ad world peripherally through copywriting. So when I met Mel, I was both sort of wrapping up my travel as work, but also doing a lot of copywriting. So there was
Did you
an
meet
ad
through
connection.
work?
No, we met over beer.
Beer at a pub, Stanley
Yeah.
Cup Finals. It was very Canadian.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
True Canadian couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Social.
So
Sociable.
how much has those careers kind of brought into how you guys decided? Like, did you guys start out together as a team?
It's funny. It's still shocking, I think, to people who knew me before that I'm actually in real estate. So I was getting bored in the world of HR. I'd met this one who was like this, ooh, super fun guy, traveling all the time. I'd been doing my thing for 12 years. I thought I will get my real estate license and do it part-time because it's such easy money.
I did the same.
Right?
Because that's the idea.
That's what we all think.
Woohoo, yeah,
So I got
exactly.
my license in like 2007, and then we decided to travel for a year together. So I actually took a sabbatical from my old job, and I had my license anyhow, and then I got sick. In about the 8th month, I got sick in Turkey, and I had surgery in Greece, and then the insurance company sent me home.
Fine.
So then I was here and I had 4 months before I got my old job back, and I thought, well, I've got the real estate license, I might as well try it out. And that was 2008, so I listed my first property about 2 weeks in, and that was the day Lehman Brothers collapsed.
Perfect.
Beginning of the 2008 disaster. And yeah, I loved it. I mean, 2008 was a weird time because Most realtors in Toronto didn't know how to negotiate, didn't have to negotiate, everything was super easy. I came in, I was ex-HR, I wasn't afraid to make people cry, I knew how to negotiate. So I found it super easy, and I loved it. So about 6 or 8 months into that, Brendan was finding that his world in 2008 and 2009 had changed significantly. I mean, the ad industry was suffering. We all thought we were in for a prolonged recession. Travel industry was a disaster. I'd always been a condo townhouse person. He'd been a house person. So I said, get your license and you can do the house piece, and I'll do the condo and townhouse piece. And then that sort of happened, and I don't know how it ended up being. I mean, things took off, and then we both went back to our old gigs for a little bit one summer, because it wasn't that easy, which we realized a year later.
There was not much of this. It was like...
Yeah, there was the year we sold 10 houses between the two of us, or 9.
Yeah.
So we went back to our old gigs, and we're like, yeah, the plan B isn't really a plan B anymore. And we thought, let's get serious about this. And that's when we joined Bosley, and we started the website and the blog, and I guess the rest is kind of
Yeah,
history.
a lot of it was us realizing that there was no plan B, or that we didn't have any interest in the plan B. And I think that was a big turning point in our business, and a lot of people who get into real estate, they think they can do it part-time. Part-time real estate sucks, you can't really do it. But if you've always got one foot half out the door, you're not going to really commit, and we were also that way until we stepped out the door, realized the door sucked. So, well, okay, we're going to go all in on real estate, and once we committed emotionally and financially and every other way, that's when everything changed for us, and we started making it happen. And to answer your question, you said why. How did our jobs end up in real estate? And we joke even today that even though we left our old jobs, we've just recreated them within real estate. Because I was a tour guide. I literally walk people around countries and whatever. So now I take buyers around and introduce them to neighborhoods and talk about all the great things that are in the neighborhood. And I feel like I'm selling my city or my neighborhood or whatever in a way that I also did. I love that part of it. And in a lot of ways, Mel's recreated her old job, even more so now that we have a team, because she's doing a lot of the HRE type things, whether it's training or team management or people, and then marketing, which of course, all those, ironically, even though she wasn't directly doing the marketing when she was working in the ad world, she was surrounded by it, and now she's focused on marketing all the time.
So really we're in the same jobs.
So yeah, we just recreated our old jobs.
So, because you guys, obviously a lot of your business comes from your website. Mm-hmm. So, what were you doing before the website, or was that since day one kind of? Because obviously a good website takes time to get.
That's a good question.
No, and those my first website was a Costco wizard. I paid $49 for it.
It's 5 times what I paid for my first.
Yep.
I know, and it was terrible. It had 4 pages on it, and I got my dad would visit it once a month.
But that's where Get What You Want came in. That came up from the very beginning. GetWhatYouWant.ca. That was from the Costco Wizard website. We're like, what the heck are we going to use as a URL?
Yeah.
So how did you get business before the site?
I mean, we know a lot of people, so that was, we weren't getting a ton of business, but we knew some people, and I guess we did some friends and family in those first few years, and some people that I had worked with, because I had a good network of people. And then it wasn't really enough to sustain us. And I went to a cocktail party one night, and I was standing in line for a drink, and the guy in front of me said, I can get you on the first page of Google. And I was like, what?
You got one of those calls?
Can get me? No, I was in person.
Yeah.
In person, I was like, what? That's before I was even on the list to get calls. And I was like, yes, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. So we signed up for a 6-month Google AdWords campaign, which of course, when you clicked on it, would land on our homepage.
Yeah,
and any of the things I was advertising were not on my website.
Even better.
And so we spent, I think it was $800 a month, which was a ridiculous amount of money for us at the time, and got, as you can imagine, absolutely nothing out of it. And about month 3 or 4, I'm like, well, this is stupid. And I thought, I'm just gonna go out and I'm gonna teach myself how to do web marketing.
So was there a moment with your site where you kind of had that, okay, this is working, this works?
So
Inman was what did it.
I mean, I think going to Inman was the big kind of catalyst to let's do a blog, let's learn SEO. I'm a bit of an SEO geek. Let's just really get serious about it. So I think we went through 2 iterations. I think after the Costco website, there was another templated website that didn't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And then we started the blog, and we started the website, and then I started taking classes and learning and going to conferences, and then a lot of trial and error. I'm not a very patient person. which is a shock to
SEO
anybody who
is
knows
really-
me.
You gotta be a little bit patient with us.
Yeah.
No, so I'm like, okay, I'm blogging 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna write all this content and I'm gonna do it the right way. And I kind of really went at it quickly. So we had results realistically within 2 or 3 months,
Oh, wow.
which I now know
Yeah.
is not normal.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, no, I'm doing this. And honestly, if I hadn't gotten quick results, I probably would have given up because that's just my personality.
Now that was also around the time that we ended up connecting with Andre, right?
From
As
Artifact.
far as
From Artifact.
Artifact. So we also had, when we got serious on the website front, we also got a good designer to help us with, because we realized that, you know, the cost code templated website wasn't really going to cut it, so we needed something a little more custom, and we got involved with Andre in the early days of Artifact as well. So we had good design, and we had good functionality, and a good person to ask all the stupid questions that we didn't know the answers to.
I think that was 6 or 7 years ago.
Was that a little
I think
later?
we're on the third iteration of our website with him, or 4th maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot over the
I remember
years.
my very first site. So I just started real estate, and I was broke, but I had enough like runway for 6 months max.
Yeah,
It actually took me
totally.
6 months to get my first deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of leases.
Which is
and
pretty
everything.
normal, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
slow, but I was Google Blogger, $12 a year. And the entire reasoning at the time was, well, Google owns Blogger, so if I'm going to rank high on Google, I should just use that. And I ended up within 6 months ranking first for basically everything in a row.
Wow.
And I wasn't just like 1, I was like 1, 2, 3, and 5. And the only reason was I didn't realize it at the time was Google Plus.
Right.
Is
Oh,
that every Google Blogger post auto posts to Google Plus.
so you were only ranking when you searched it, not when anybody else
No, it
searched
started everyone else too. Like it was like that started it. But
Back
like,
when
if you
Google
looked at
Plus
my-
was the thing,
Yeah,
that was one
it's-
of the secret sauces at the time
Yeah.
was Google
Yeah.
Plus. Back when
Not anymore.
the flash in the pan that Google Plus.
And I only figured that out like 6 months after I started
Yeah,
blogging because
yeah.
someone messaged me
Yeah.
and said, "How are you so big on Google Plus?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like,
Google what?
"You have 37 followers, but 100,000 views." And I was like, "What?" And then I finally went to my Google Plus page and I was like, "What is that?" And then I realized every Google Plus view there, basically because of Google Blogger, counted as a website view.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
Google Plus it is."
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously now it's a little bit.
It's a tough
different.
game, and they change it
Yeah.
up every few months just to keep you
Yeah.
on your toes.
Well, it's content, right? That
Yeah.
keeps you up in front. So, especially early on, how did you guys choose what content to create?
I think the obvious stuff was the stuff that people ask us all the time. And honestly, it's still what I blog about. It's,
Sure.
it's people's fears, it's their questions, it's their concerns, it's their dreams. I mean, I'm trying to do a mix of content that is going to, evergreen content that's going to stick around for a long time, like neighborhood guides and buyer guides and that sort of thing, as well as like more timely market updates and, true tales and gossip columns and rants and and then there's just the fun things in the top 10 lists that people like to share and have a very short shelf life.
But I think it started.
Started with answering obvious
We started
questions.
with evergreen content that wasn't necessarily, I guess we were sort of thinking of it that way, but it was more like, well, the obvious low-hanging fruit is we are answering the same bloody questions all day long anyway. So let's write down all those questions as we get asked them, write down our answers, and turn each one of them into a separate piece of content so that we don't have to keep answering the same questions all the time. We just say, oh, we wrote a blog on that. We still go back to some of the ones you did in that first year when people say, what's an assignment? Oh, here's the blog on assignments. So, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think my first
That's how it
blog
started.
is the sky falling, which was a Chicken Little is the, are we about to explode as a market? And this is 6 years ago, and I could still write the same blog today. Because people still have the same questions. And I think my second blog was the guide to win a bidding war.
Yeah.
Like it was all very obvious stuff that we knew people didn't know and they were like searching.
By far, my most popular post ever was just what is a bully offer.
Mhm.
And I think there was like one other woman who wrote a similar post in Toronto, and it was just her and I kept going back and forth for the first spot.
Because guess what? Your clients aren't the only ones asking the question. The people that don't have somebody to ask Google.
Yeah.
What is a bully offer?
Well, most people ask there first with everything before they ask anyone.
Yeah, so you might as well answer their questions. If all your clients are asking the question, that somebody else out there is going to be interested too. So, and you'd be amazed at some of the blogs that are most popular over years and years and years are things like, what does it cost to own a house in Toronto? Like,
Yeah, I wrote that 7 years ago.
that's 7
Probably
years
gets
ago.
100 people a day.
We still get a ton of people because it's a very common question that people, especially if you're not living in Toronto already, you're moving to Toronto, you're like, I don't know, how much do I budget for electricity? People have no idea. So
Are you guys going back and updating those posts or creating new posts around that?
So I update the top blogs all the time. I mean, probably once a month I'll go through and update 10 blogs. And then right now I'm doing like a throwback Thursday old post that has a new social image on it. For some of my good blogs that maybe when I was getting, 100 people a day on the blog, which is different than 3,000 people a day on the blog, I don't want people to read it, so I'll bring them back to life and I'll go in and update them all. So it's not like I'm referring to 2012 sales or the $500,000 house, which is, not achievable
Doesn't
anymore.
exist anymore.
So for your social posts with these ones, are you finding since these new changes announced in January, have you seen a big change in how your social media has performed?
We haven't really seen a change in Facebook. I mean, we've always been big fans of paying for our traffic, so
You're very much organic
we boost every original post and always have. So I haven't really noticed much of a change at all. I noticed it on a personal perspective for sure, and like seeing the same stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But
I'm following a lot lately.
yeah, hide post.
Yeah.
Hide post. I've seen this one 12 times. Hide it.
Yeah. Oh, and they're even getting rid of a lot of the. I don't know how much time you spend on like the ads manager on Facebook, but like they're getting rid of their like. I don't know if you pay attention to where it says like hide negative feedback versus like positive feedback on a post, because they'll tell you that they're actually going to get rid of all that now too.
Oh, interesting.
So
I use Ad Espresso for all of my ads.
That was
Ad Espresso, you'd like it.
I've used it,
Yeah.
But I actually just prefer the built-in one.
Really? See,
Like-
I hate that platform.
Really? Because you
Oh.
still have eyes. Because I would have expected you to have stabbed them out by now. Because
So, like,
I
I
hate
just dropped
that
the
power
ball.
editor.
So
Oh.
I stopped using the Power Editor and I've gone to the Ads Manager.
oh.
Okay.
So then now they
Okay,
keep
then yes.
changing them and improving it. So like the Ads Manager now probably looks like what the Power Editor used to look like.
Mhm.
And eventually like they've kind of said they're going to be merging them into one.
See, Ad Espresso, I like how I can try different campaigns and different titles with different copy and different images, and it tests it all out and it optimizes it, and I can set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Whereas regular Facebook ads, I'm like, I've got to go
Yeah.
in
But I think
and
probably the difference is you guys are so busy, whereas like that's our job. So like we're in there every day anyways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't need like we don't use the automated like if this happens then do this type of
Right.
stuff. So for us, because we're already in there,
Yeah.
it just works. And then because we have to train people how to do it, we might as well be
Yeah.
using the platform we're training.
Right,
people.
okay.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So how many like do you guys run a lot of ads on Facebook?
Yeah, I probably run, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 a month.
And what kind of
Dollars,
ads?
not
Do they
ads.
straight
Yeah, I was going
just
to say
promoting
not
your
ads. She
content?
needs
Dollars, not
dollars.
ads.
So are you straight just promoting content? or you
Content
run-
listings.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll go into, we'll have different brand campaigns,
Mhm.
depending on the time of year. Like we'll have a campaign that'll hit next month. The most traction we get for sure is our original blogs, or our campaign around our original blog. So it's an actual ad, not a boost, targeted to specific demographic. And then we get a lot for our listing marketings for sure. We're very proud of the fact that our listings get more views on our website than they do on realtor.ca.
That's awesome.
It's like the proudest moment, the proudest thing I have.
Yeah. So how many you get a listing? How many views will you typically get on your site for a new listing?
Depends on the type of listing and kind of who I'm targeting and what I'm doing. But I mean, typically 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people in the first week.
Nice. Are you doing any retargeting off that? Like if they go back to Facebook, will they see an ad for that listing?
Not doing any retargeting right now.
No. Is that it?
And I say that because it's been on my list for like
Yeah,
3 years.
That's why we're both smirking. Is
So-
we've talked about that many times over the years, and
And I have the Pixel installed and like I'm ready to go. And yeah, I also hate being retargeted.
Yeah.
So there's a personal, I mean, a lot of how we've developed our marketing strategies is about what we like as consumers because we're selling to people who are like us. So, we don't door knock, we don't cold call, we don't postcard, we don't put our face on any advertising because that's what we're drawn to. So we've used that same scenario with a lot of our other advertising, and I hate being retargeted.
Yeah.
That said, I know it works really well, so.
Yeah. Well, there's also different ways you can do the retargeting
Yeah.
to not be annoying.
Yeah.
Like especially with Facebook, where you can limit the frequency of that people see
Yes.
the post.
That's the big one that most
that is a
people
big
do.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, we monitor frequency quite a bit. Anytime frequency gets over 2, we're normally shutting an ad down because that's
It's the one where you're like, 10 times, and I'm like, why are you still torturing
Yeah.
me with that Hawaii post? I'm not really going. I went to see someone else's hotel. Torture me.
Yeah, and then there's some just that they clearly do zero targeting besides the retargeting. Like there was one ad, I actually clicked on one for a friend of mine because he asked me to look it up because he wasn't at his computer. And I ended up getting ads for them, like, but this ad is for a 30-year-old woman.
Right.
Like, and it was a service that only a woman would buy.
Right.
And I was like, why do you not at least limit it to men then? But
Well, it's like email campaigns, though, right? People
Yeah.
do it so.
That's
Some
what
people
I
do
was
it so
thinking.
badly. I mean, the other day, I think I renewed an account. And then I got an email welcoming me to the service and offering me a discount. I was like, I have been your client for 3 years.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck on this drip campaign from new potential clients. And I'm like, oh my God, kill me.
If you wait a week, you get a discount.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's, yeah.
I already paid, which was the most annoying thing.
It's true, actually. I've been targeted by some really odd marketing messages. One of the weirdest ones was it was an actual email, I don't know if it was, from Dropbox saying, hey, love to talk to you about whether your business could use Dropbox for business. And I'm like, do you have any idea how many thousands of dollars I spend on my Dropbox for business account? I have a whole team, I'm running it. And you're writing me at the email address associated with my account.
They don't have an exclusion.
Is nobody actually checking before they're doing this?
I think that's the scary thing with a lot of marketing automation, is just that opportunity for it to go wrong. And I remember it was HubSpot, who I have a lot of respect for. I like what they do. And they put me on the wrong list. And I'm like, oh my God,
I'm more critical of them.
This is my whole fear of automated marketing.
Yep.
And you've just proven it. All of the concerns that I have, you have proven. So no, I cannot sign up for your service now.
Yeah.
Because you're sending me all of the wrong messages. And no, I did not talk to somebody about my business plan. So why am I getting all of these messages?
That's the best
that
part.
meeting got canceled.
Yeah.
And it was scheduled for 2 weeks, and I was getting all the, well, we know so much about your business after that conversation.
Yeah.
It's like,
And you're like, ooh, that's so bad.
I had a good one actually that recently where I was looking at a business coach. It wasn't a real estate coach. It was just like a general business coach. And I went to an information session.
Yeah.
But like the 2 weeks leading up, it was the same woman from the company following up with me. And she's very nice. I actually thought she was great. And like I was like, wow, you guys have really personal service. This is awesome. Like all your emails are very personal. And then when we happened to be at the event, because there's like 50 other people, we didn't actually meet her. She was there, but I guess we never crossed paths. First, like half an hour later, I get the follow-up email. Great meeting you. And I'm like, and then like she even called me later being like, so I know we didn't get a chance to meet. And I'm like, you realize you just sent an email to me saying nice to meet you. I'm like, that's where the disconnect ends up happening. Is it doesn't follow
It's
through.
dangerous, isn't it? You have to be really careful.
Yeah, and like that's why like we do some like minor automation, like someone opts into something, they get like a little welcome series.
Yeah.
And
But you know
we
what you're
can take
doing
out-
now too, right? That's
Yeah.
the difference.
But we take out just little things like hi, insert first name. Like we take that out because a lot of times people like don't put their name in it.
If
put
it
the
goes
name.
wrong, you're
Yeah.
gonna look like you're gonna have
Hi,
egg on your
Mickey Mouse.
face.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want hi and then just a bunch of obscenities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they know right away.
Take me off your list.
Yeah.
Because we've had stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Anybody filling out a form
Yeah.
loves to say, screw you,
Well, that's at least one good thing that Infusionsoft does, is if they don't have the right name, they just switch it to friend. So it's like hi friend, which isn't
Oh,
great,
that's cool.
but at least then you know like it's not going
Yeah.
to show up with like hi contact name.
Yeah.
That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of bad email marketing.
Yeah.
What do you guys do from an email marketing standpoint?
So we're anti-drip campaign. So, and that's based on a lot of bad personal experiences and just kind of how we've approached the business in general, which is very personal contact. So we do a ton of follow-up, and the automation to remind people to follow up with people is there. And there's a lot of stuff happening in the background to help the agents kind of be able to do it quicker, but it isn't sort of you're on a list and then you stay on a list forever. We do email marketing, but they're not drip campaigns. So we have kind of a weekly hot list that goes out, which is all the coolest properties on the market. We have a monthly neighborhood reports, which is all the stats and what's selling everywhere. And we have a weekly opportunity knocks list, which is kind of all the cool properties that got missed and didn't sell in week one. And that we've never added in a name to. Everybody signs up for that. We deliver what we hope is good content. We have really good open rates. Eventually they may contact us, but it isn't, the goal is not to try to convert them to a client. The goal is to provide them with whatever it is they signed up for and provide value so that when the time comes, 2, 3, 4 months or years later, we're top of mind.
And sometimes that really works. Sometimes we get people coming to us as quote unquote new clients, but they say, oh, I've been getting your emails for years now.
Yeah, and they feel like.
And I'm like, I don't know who you are, but that's okay, because you know who I am and you trust us and you know that we're delivering what we said we would, and it makes the transition so much easier,
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that we're missing out on business that could be closed to put people on drip campaigns. But like we said about a lot of marketing things, we've chosen not to do just because it's not in line with what our brand is.
Yeah, like if you guys like did like all that extra lead capture stuff, forcing names in and following up, you probably get way more leads, but it's different from your
Well,
brand.
it's also the quality of lead,
Yeah.
right? Like I want to work with somebody who wants to work with me.
Yeah.
I don't want to chase people down. I don't want to be in their face if they don't want me in their face. I mean, I want people to fall in love with the brand, fall in love with the experience that we're promising, and want to work with me or with us. and not be about, if I harass them enough, eventually they're going to give in. And I think that's a big mistake in real estate, which is a lot of it is that, if I show up at their door enough times, if I call them enough times, that eventually I'll get them at the right moment. And for us, it's very much about building something that they want to come to. So we don't really want the leads that we have to work really hard to keep.
Like the forced registration style.
We don't do any
that's
forced
a great
registration because if you don't want to work with me, you don't give me your name. What am I going to do? Like, how much time do I have to spend chasing you down, trying to convince you to work with me? I'd rather spend that time building something really cool that you want to work with.
Yeah, and that's where
that's worked well for us.
Our clients, like obviously with a lot of ours, we do some of the forced registration for them. But every time we have it, we sit down with that conversation, being like, here's the type of lead you're going to get from this.
Yeah.
And then here's like from content marketing. And then sort of finding that balance. And it's interesting to see the different types of people who like, no, I just want as many leads as possible, and we hire an ISA, they'll just chase them down. And then you get the other people on the other side, more like you guys, where it's, no, I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I want everyone to come and like, they want me to talk to them. So I don't have to worry about speed. Like, cause like these ones, right? Like, you got to basically be the first minute you're following up.
Well, and both can work, right? I mean, I think that's the nice thing about marketing and about our industry in general is anything can work if you're consistent with it and you do a good job of it.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of what's a personal preference for you and how do you want to spend your time.
How often do you guys get people reaching out asking like, who should I pick as a website provider?
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, I don't know, like 5 or 10 a month.
That's
A
pretty
lot.
They don't work.
Usually
that
they're
way.
calling.
They don't say
Usually
that.
they're calling our provider and asking him to build the same website he built for us, which is usually how it goes down.
Usually
But-
it's like,
And-
usually it's not, it's usually, do you like him, or they don't even ask, they just go to him and say, make the same website, or they'll come to us
Which
and
of course
say,
you wouldn't do.
what was your experience with, with him, did it work well? But, I mean, I think it's important to remind people that beautiful design, although it's really important, is not the whole, like, you can have beautiful design and a great user experience and all that sort of stuff, but that's one part of it, and it's not, you have something that looks exactly the same, but that doesn't mean that it's going to perform exactly the same because you're not the same people, and you're not doing the same thing behind the scenes, and you're not,
Well, it's interesting when like a lot of people ask me about their websites, like which one should I use? And I'm like, well, first I have to ask, like, how do you want to build your business online?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them will come and be like, I want a site. Like, I get people who send me your site all the time being like, what would it take to get something like this? I'm like, ignoring the tens of thousands just to build the site, we're either spending a lot of time or money to get the content, which is what matters.
Yeah.
And then, but if you don't want to build the content, you're having a different, completely
then you
different
should
type of
have a
site.
different kind of website
Yeah,
too,
like
because it's going to be a
completely
different,
And I think that's the thing that I always find odd because people will call me with that same thing, and I was like, no, I write every single one of those blogs myself. Yeah, you can outsource some of that, of course, but like there has to be a real commitment to original content. That's something that other people aren't writing about. That shows your personality, that shows your brand. I mean, that's what's converting people. It's not just a pretty website and the colors you choose.
For us and for our target, the way that we're trying to do it. I mean, on the other end, you could have something that's 100% data driven that has no personality in it, like a condos.ca, that is all about data. You don't. There's no blog on, hey, I love this building or anything like that. It's data. It's like this is.
And it works.
And it works for the kind of person that's looking for data, and they don't want to know, hey, what's it like to live in this building? I want to know what are the per square foot condo fees for over the last 3 years and how they go.
Yeah.
Like there's different customers and there's different approaches to get to different customers because they want different things.
I always try to compare those to be like, that type of site would be like cold calling 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yours is like farming a neighborhood. Like that's kind of
Yeah, I mean, we consider farming we consider farming a demographic.
Yeah.
Which is always what we've done. Like we know exactly who it is we're talking to. We know where they're spending their time, and that's where we're going to be. So we know they're not answering the phone. They don't want to talk to me when they do. But we know they're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They're reading blogs. They're googling stuff on their phone. I mean, that's where we are. So it's very much like farming. In our case, a demographic.
So for you guys, from a social media perspective, how many platforms are you on right now?
On versus actively on.
Actively
so
using.
Facebook,
Good question.
yeah. In fairness, our marketing director's on maternity leave right now.
So that's now somebody's gonna look it up and go, oh, you're not really on Instagram. You haven't posted these ages.
But Facebook is for sure has always been our biggest, minus Google organic searches. Facebook's always been the biggest source of business for us. We should be more on Instagram. We're gonna have Instagram guilt now.
So Instagram used to be my domain, and it was fun, but not particularly strategic. I just sort of did what I was putting fun stuff up in my world as a realtor. And then we decided to make it more of a push, and we started to do more fun things that came along with another person helping with it because I have other jobs as well, right? Other than posting on Instagram. So we had a marketing director, she helped. So we had, and if you go back on our Instagram, you'll see we have all kinds of fun things with words and stats and all kinds of great stuff. And then you'll see a bit of a drop off when she had a baby. And now it's been left to me, and of course I've gotten out of the habit of doing it. So we love Instagram. I love Instagram personally, but it's been like this. Sometimes our Instagram has been awesome, and sometimes it's completely forgotten. So we haven't been consistent, which is one of those rules you're supposed to do, is be consistent. So that's something that could be better. But I love it. I do feel guilty, but I love Instagram. But Facebook's always been our core.
I mean, we're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter.
I've never liked Twitter.
Both of us dislike Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly closed business from Twitter.
Yeah.
We have, it sends traffic and it gives, readers to our blog, and everything does get posted there. It's not my...
For the people that...
It's great for B2B, so it's great for connecting with other realtors, it's great for conferences, but it's
For the
not my
people that
thing.
are already on Twitter and use that as their main place, we're there, but it's linking back to content and stuff on our website. We're there because they're there, but we don't start on Twitter.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are.
I got a lot of business off Twitter, but it was never for me just like posting. It was always just replying to people.
No?
Right.
Like any business I ever got off Twitter was me replying.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's where I find the problem with most people on Twitter is there's, especially like the automated services where it's just auto post, or I'm sure you guys saw it lately with that, like the Stoneman shooting. Whereas like some of the auto services will just take the top trending hashtags, throw it onto these auto posts, get more visibility, and you're like, check out this great house, hashtag Stoneman shooting. You're like,
Yeah, that's brutal.
like, what are you doing?
That's
It's like those services just bug me. So like, even though we provide like services to agents to put content out for them, we're just like, we will never do anything like that. Like it's brutal that comes out.
And that's the scary thing about who some people hire, right? I mean, everybody wants a piece of the real estate agent pie, because real estate agents are some of the easiest, cheapest though, but the easiest clients because they want all the problems. There's too much to do for a real estate agent. You can't be good at all those things. You can't be in all those places at once. So if someone's there to provide a solution, they're like, yes, 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 take my money.
Yeah.
Make this problem go away. Let me check this off my checklist. So I get it, and yet there are, there's some good people out there, and there are a lot of really shady characters, and I think it's sad when we see some people pick the wrong people.
Like, there's a lot of that, just like the wrong company coming in and just blowing it out.
Yeah.
Like, you get why they don't get the results, but what's interesting too is like agents need to like learn how to speak about like Facebook, for example. It's like we had a client one time who used to go into listings and be like, or listing presentations, like we'll talk about Facebook, how we'll do Facebook marketing. But really all they're saying is we do Facebook. Well, technically the person using City Blast is saying we do Facebook too.
Yeah.
So how are you like able to talk differently about that? So like when you guys talk to clients, like how in depth do you go about like how you get into Facebook and the strategy versus saying like, yeah, we'll market on Facebook?
I mean, depends on the client and if they care.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really care about what we care
Sometimes
about.
people, their eyes glaze over, and some people, a lot of our clients work in the ad world.
Yeah.
So you actually have to have a smart answer to that.
Yeah.
You gotta know your shit.
Our listing presentation has examples of ads that we
They
do,
do.
the kind of
That's how we
interaction
do
that
it.
we
We
have.
use examples.
Yeah.
That's our whole business though. We're always storytelling, right? So it's not, hey, we advertise on Facebook. It's like, hey, here's what happened this one time when we listed a house on Facebook. And here's what we did, and here's what happened, and here's why it mattered to the client.
Yeah.
So for us, it's all about storytelling.
Case study
more than-
storytelling. We do it in our print marketing, online marketing. We talk about, hey, here's how. Like you say, for us trying to find a buyer that we wouldn't have otherwise found if we hadn't been using Facebook, and without giving too much away. I mean, that's the kind of thing, right? Facebook brings us in people, eyeballs that might not otherwise see us. And so our story is, here's how we marketing this particular property using Facebook, and we brought in a buyer that wouldn't have found it otherwise, and they specifically said to us, I saw your stuff on Facebook and I brought it to my realtor and I bought it because of your Facebook ad.
And we'll have realtors tell us, they're like, I don't know who does your Facebook ads, but whatever you're doing is working. Because my client's only been looking in the East End, and they brought me this property in the West End, and now we're buying.
Yeah, there you go. A perfect example, yeah.
And I assume that's in-house, right? Like you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I don't sell anymore, in fairness. Like
Yeah, Mel doesn't sell anymore. She,
CEO
when we
type
have the marketing director helping her with a lot of the functionality of this stuff, but the brains behind all the marketing online is Mel.
So what
Yeah,
point,
Wow, look at that.
at what point did you make that decision that it made more sense for you to stop selling and focusing on all that?
I mean, all of our whole team getting bigger is all just kind of happening. I mean, I'd love to say it was a plan that we wrote on a piece of paper, but it wasn't. Instead of we got busier, we had too many leads, so then we're like, okay, let's add an agent, and the team has kind of grown organically just out of need. And I think, I don't remember, I mean, I guess last fall we had a real conversation about it. It was like, maybe I shouldn't be selling clients and going on listing presentations. Of course, I'll still sell, like, you know, my friend's house or past clients. Of course, I'll still be involved in that. But for the most part, you know, it made less and less sense for me to be distracted by that. I'm still working realtor hours, so I mean, there's still 70, 80-hour weeks. I'd love to say my work hours went down, but they didn't. But it's more focused time, because you can't really get the projects done and the blogging done if you're constantly focused, because the clients have to come first.
It's honestly,
Like,
it's a continuum that started from day one. Well, maybe not day one. Day one, when I got in the business with her. The day that Mel was like, you should get your real estate license. And oh, can you drive me to the next listing?
I hate driving.
Because she doesn't like driving in parallel parking. So she's like, you get to shadow Brendan, which was code for I don't have to drive. And then we did everything together for the first
And you can
little
shadow
while.
all the crappy jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a learning
So then
experience.
quickly, like, shadowing became, well, you're doing such a good job at that, Brendan. Why don't you just keep doing that? And then she's, you know, so that and then as we got busier, I mean, for years, we did all of our meetings and listing presentations and whatever else. We did it all together because we were a team. It was the two of us. That was the team, right? Like it was us. And then, you know, there comes a point when we're like, we don't really have time for both of us to be doing that. Nor does it really make sense. Like, we have enough. We have different skills that and two schedules. We need to take advantage of that. And then we sort of teased off what we did. It didn't have much overlap. And then we're like, okay, now the two of us are maxed out. Now we need an assistant. We need some help. So we hired an assistant. And we need another team member. Like, that's how it sort of grew organically. So that was part of that same continuum of the two of us not doing everything together. Eventually meant that Mel was like, there's no need for me to be front line with the clients anymore because you're doing a good job. You got these other agents, you got assistants, and I'm flat out with the marketing. So that's how.
But I think too, I mean, what we're building isn't like a lot of other teams. Like, it's never been about Brendan and Mel, like, ever. So we've never really had the transitions of client wants to work with the BREL team and they want to work with one of us.
That would be my next question.
Very, very, very rare. It hasn't happened in years because it's never been about us. And honestly, our agents are better than us. Some of them are like legit better than us at everything. And for us, like, we're building a company. It's not about selling houses. I mean, Brendan, like, when we first started out, for sure, you'd hoard all the good leads because you're like, oh my God, this is like, you know, $1 million or $2 million client. And over time, as you evolve and you figure out what you want to do, it's not about hoarding. It's about really watching your agents grow and growing the business through them. So it's not about taking the best leads for yourself. I mean, honestly, we don't take any. You take repeats and referrals too. You don't take any other leads either. And 80%, like, it's
Just
all
past clients and referrals from past clients or other people.
And even then, like, this year, you're not going to grow your own personal business because you're taking a more active role in managing the team, which is what it takes to be able to really grow a team and develop agents. It can't just be about the sales, and it can't be about us.
You're a beer.
Sure.
Oh,
Time for some good lot.
time for a good lot.
There's
Now
a free
available in
promo. There you go,
LCBO.
Phil. Good lot.
Where can
Farm.
they buy it before it gets into the LCBO?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
You
Unless
can't go to.
that's not
Caledon?
true. You can buy. No, you can't go to Caledon because they're not brewing on that site yet. They're in the
summer.
final stages. They're
Okay.
right now. They're contract brewed until the solar brewery is ready. You can buy this at many restaurants and bars in Toronto and in and around the GTA. So, like, there's what's the Lalo Craft, the craft beer place on Dundas West has it. There's lots of you'll see Good Lot on the pull tabs around cool funky bars and restaurants downtown Toronto. But until it has to be a licensee. Until they're brewing it on premises, they can't sell it from there.
Thank you.
So, but now that they're listed in the LCBO, you will be able to very soon.
Perfect.
I just don't know which stores yet. So, and they just do the one beer for the moment.
I'm sure we'll get more.
Yeah.
Assuming it's good.
It is.
It's
Oh, you haven't
delicious.
had it yet. That's right.
It's delicious.
You guys can give us sorry about the head there, Mel. No jokes.
Well, according to a video on Facebook, that's actually the right way to pour.
It is.
Yeah. Otherwise, that happens in your stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to beer number 2.
Thank you.
Back to, I was going to say something about, yes.
That's
Isn't it
very
good?
good.
It's beautiful beer,
Yeah,
eh?
Farm-raised beer.
Yeah.
it's a refreshing beer.
High five
It's
from the
an
Green
amazing
Belt.
summer beer. It's
Yeah.
an amazing, 10 beers in a row beer.
Yeah, I'd love to be
Not
on a
that I do
patio
that.
with that right now.
Yeah, you and me both, right? Hopefully soon.
Next time I'll see this interview south.
Yeah, exactly.
On a cruise, maybe.
Oh,
It's
maybe on a cruise.
it's a little, it's 6.2%, so it's a little bit on the boozy side, so you don't want to drink like 12.
So that's why my last interview, dude, with a 7% beer.
Well, this one, the farmhouse, is also kind of, that one's 6.6. So, we're gonna have a good afternoon.
Easy beer. We're always going.
But none of them are like super hoppy, or
Yeah.
neither of them are super hoppy, neither of them are super like dark or anything. They're just,
yeah, this is literally the perfect summer beer.
Yeah.
Sunshine. So I know this happens to you guys a lot, and I'm curious, like, especially maybe like the first time you realize it's happening, of people copying your content. Like I know it's because like I've seen it all the time, and even like on a much smaller scale when I was selling, I'd see it all the time. Like there was a trainer who used to train people on LinkedIn, and I knew he every time he did a course because he'd view my profile, and then I'd see 6-7 agents view my profile in the next 10 minutes, and then half of them would have the same profile.
Yeah.
So, like, when did you guys first notice that started happening to you?
I mean, I hate talking about this.
Somebody asked me.
I'm trying to move past it. It still drives me crazy. What usually happens is we often have a lot of internal links on our blogs.
Yeah.
So, for more information about bully offers, click here. And agents are not that smart when they're copying and plagiarizing someone else's content, so they will leave in those internal links.
Yeah.
So
That's
suddenly
right.
I will see my website getting all these hits from like some random real estate agent in Utah. I'm like, why am I all over his website? And they go to his website and see, oh, he's stolen my entire site. If you Google our tagline, there's like 70 or 80 people who've taken it.
And sometimes it's not even live sites. It's like dev sites that they're playing around that are live and crawled on the internet. They don't even realize it, and we're calling them saying, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "How do you even see that? That's not even live." And we're like, "Wow, you really have no idea about what's going on here." Yeah.
I mean, the sad thing
You're just
is,
getting ready to copy it all.
I mean, the sad thing is those agents don't realize they've destroyed their domain with Google for life. And I used to call people and be like, love your content, who writes it? Oh, and I write it. I was like, really? You use the same 5,000 words in a row as I did. And then I let them know that, for the record, your domain is officially dead and you can expect to never, ever get seen in a search again. And they usually hang up on me. It still drives me crazy, obviously, because I spend a lot of time writing everything. And it's very personal for me. I know that they're not going to get any Google results from that.
Yeah.
If their own clients see it, I've had people steal our vision, our values, and I'm like, really? Like, you couldn't think of your own values? You took mine? And I've had these conversations.
One of my favorites
Like, way to go.
was the seal of approval.
That's a Toronto agent.
I know.
She still has it up.
So this was, I don't even know how this happened, other than we wanted to have a seal of approval. We were like, let's make a little BREL seal of approval. And we gave it to our designer at Sage, and he was joking around.
Yeah.
So he, as a joke, made a seal of approval with an actual seal on it. There's a picture of the animal, a seal, in the middle of the seal of approval. And we're like, oh, that's a stupid joke. And we kind of liked it, so we left it in.
And it works with our brand. At the time,
It was a
worked with
goofy,
our- yeah.
ridiculous, there's a seal, we're like, why is that even funny? And like, okay, fine, leave it on. And somebody stole the seal and left the seal in. We're like,
It's still live today.
it's the same image. We're like, wow, you even stole our really bad joke. It wasn't even funny the first time.
Yeah.
That one was.
And then remember there was somebody in like Idaho or somewhere, a lot of American, because I do American podcasts sometimes, which means everybody steals my stuff. It was like an Idaho realtor, and you could call for the BREL staging consultation. I was like, tell me about that. And I called him. And I've had everything from people denying and blaming and people crying on the phone.
Someone
and
else
like,
did it that I hired.
and honestly, I used to spend a long time on that.
Yeah, we get a lot of that. Other people blaming other people.
Yeah, which is all-
Which is sometimes true and sometimes not at all. We had a very prominent
currently
agent in Toronto.
A big Toronto team who
who
stole a
tried
bunch
to
of our stuff.
intimidate you into that as well.
We did.
Yeah.
That was a live meeting with his broker.
Nice.
I I mean, honestly, I'm trying to step back from it right now from my personal sanity standpoint. I'm no longer looking.
Yeah.
It does not mean we can go and steal my stuff.
She's looking actively.
You'll be dead to Google, because Google knows I posted it first. But I'm trying to walk away from that because I know the reality is that if you sit, I mean, I have a very specific brand and a very specific experience, and most people can't deliver on that.
Yeah.
So you might get the appointment, but the minute you show up and you're not what we are, you're not gonna get the business. So it's just tacky. I'm trying.
And it's not.
This is like the pain is all coming back to me.
Drink. This is the thing. Yeah, please drink. This is the thing about online content, though, is that the internet is smarter than you are, and Google is smarter than you are. So the funny part was the funniest part were the people that would deny it and say, "Well, you stole mine. How do we know that you didn't steal my content?" We're like, it's the internet. Everything has a trace.
It's like, and here's my website on November 2009.
Here, you can roll back in.
Yours changed.
Here's a date stamp of yours, and here's a date stamp. Like, the internet knows all this stuff.
Yeah.
And Google sees all that and Google knows, oh, that content was there first, and then it went there, and then it went there, and then it went there. Like, you can't pretend. It's not like you can use some whiteout and pretend, change the date and pretend that was
print marketing.
No, it doesn't work that way. You can't go, well, there's no way of proving it. Actually, there are lots of ways of proving it. And you don't even need to, because it's less about the lawyers and proving and more about Google going, those 6 people copied that one because that one came first. Those ones are in the trash.
Well,
and it's just sad because if you don't know what you stand for and what you're giving and why people should work with you, you probably shouldn't be in the business. Like, if you've got to rip off my stuff, you're probably in the wrong business.
Yeah.
So you're never going to be successful even if you steal all 700 of my blogs, because you don't have your own mind and your own idea of what you want to be. So now I'm feeling sad, and I feel these people are just
let's be positive. Let's go back to being positive.
But
Everybody needs inspiration from somebody else.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as anything really truly new in this universe. You just have to find what's out there and make it yourself.
And I think part of it is, we do these podcasts and we do all of these things because we genuinely want to share with people ideas and give them inspiration. Because there is enough business for everybody, right? Like, I'm not looking to take all the business. I'm happy to share everything we do. And a lot of people have taken that inspiration and turned it into their own thing, and they've done the lessons, and that's amazing, and that's why we do any of the sharing that we do. And those are the people that will be successful at the end of the day, because they're taking lessons from somebody else, just like we do every single day, and then making it their own. Like, that's what it should be about.
Yeah, find the people that
but
inspire you.
But like, you take my 10 values and pretend they're yours, like...
We got a lot of our inspiration in the early days from places like when we went to the Inman conference a few times, but the one of the first ones that we went to in New York, and
I love this story. Can I tell a story?
Yeah, sure.
So it's Brendan's 40th birthday. It's like a year ago or so.
Last week.
It's actually 5 years in the future.
Yeah, exactly. 5 years in the future.
Tell them this from the future.
This was our very first Inman conference. And we go there, and we were kind of getting into the website thing. So I guess it's 6 years ago. Not that you're 46. But anyhow, we go to this conference, and our minds are literally blown. And we had this whole romantic weekend, and we had rented a suite at the Thompson Hotel, which was super exciting in Lower East Side. And we left the conference, and we checked into the hotel, and we never left the room. All we did was plan. It was literally the business that you see today. We ordered room service. I mean, we sent like concierges to get us chips. Like, I mean, we were that level of, and there was booze too. There was a good. And that was his 40th birthday, and yet, like, we literally sat there. We're like, how are we implementing all of this? Like, that was a turning point weekend for us.
Absolutely.
So
and Inman has always been a huge part of our lives.
Yeah. So Inman's a big one. So, like, what other conferences, because I know you guys go to quite a few, what are kind of like your top conferences that are of value?
Your favorite conference isn't on anymore. Wasn't that the
one in Hawaii?
One? No.
Oh, the Rex conference was great, but that's because only like 200 people showed up and they were giving away cars, and that was super fun.
But you love that conference.
That was a great conference. That was the first time I saw Gary Vee. It was the first time I saw Scott Scratton.
Yeah.
They gave away a car. It was super cool.
Gary's in town tomorrow.
But was he into that?
He's speaking.
Scott?
Gary. Yeah, we're going to meet him tomorrow.
Sorry?
He's speaking at Generation Now. It's a Hastings.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the most influential conferences for us, other than Inman, was certainly our first conference with the people who with the good fellow coaching.
Yes.
Before they were our coaches. I mean, I was in tears. Like I went home in tears the first night, being like, "Oh my God, what have I done?"
Because we realized that we needed to restructure our team and our business and the way we'd done it. We'd done a lot of things really, really well, and there were a lot of things we'd done really, really badly because we didn't know how to run a team or even set up a team or
even on the financial side of it,
like
there was
How to set it up.
yeah,
there's
so-
a lot of stuff that we didn't know, and suddenly all of that was on display in front of us, and we're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's why she was.
So
in tears.
that was huge.
Was like, oh my God.
And that
we're
led to
done.
us getting a coach, which we talked about for years but hadn't done.
Yeah.
So that was a huge thing. And then every year I go to PubCon, like you and I have talked about before, which
that's
is
one
like
I really
the
want to go to.
big SEO conference in Vegas.
For those of you
Um,
watching, don't go to PubCon unless you are truly
A nerd?
Truly a nerd.
Always like
And I
full
don't
on
mean
nerd.
I'm not a real estate nerd, just
Yeah.
a complete SEO
If you
nerd.
have to ask how to
computer.
close a browser, it's not for you.
It's not for you, trust
No,
me.
I mean it was, and I think I've been 4 times, and this is the first year I ventured out with people at like the events,
Yeah.
because who wants to hang out with a real estate agent at an SEO conference when like the guys from TripAdvisor are there, right? Like, who wants to hang out with me?
Just a different
But I'm like, I'm
level.
feeling a little bit more confident, so, and I'm never myself, I'm in Vegas, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out. And it's literally like sitting in a bar with the like, well, I wonder what position you are for this search. Oh my God, you write for 9,000 keywords? I mean, that is the conversation. You would love it.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah, you'd love it.
It's,
That's
It's on my list.
I mean, the first year I went, I'd say probably 60% of it was over my head.
That's not what you told me at the time.
Maybe
but
80.
a higher number.
It might have been 80%
The
over my
first year, the
head.
first year she was like, whoa.
Now I'm probably like 10% over my head. But even then, I mean, we work with an SEO company.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm doing it on myself anymore, and that's new.
So who would you recommend? Because this is one where like I've seen more scams for SEO services than any other thing out there.
Interesting.
Maybe you don't want to give the name of the company.
Well, I was going to say, this is the only name I will
Go to
never
the
give.
conference.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
actually the
you can
only
find
name I'm not planning on sharing because
Yeah.
it's a very intimate, very, very close
Go to
relationship.
the conference. If you're a geek enough to go to the conference
Yeah.
on your own for your own business and answer those.
And the
that's
people
awesome.
that are at PubCon are all legit SEO people. Like they literally are the guys who are doing TripAdvisor stuff and like all the main stuff that you see at the top
The
of the
true white
rankings.
hat.
And Zillow and
Or-
yeah.
Yeah.
And all the
Like
big,
it's-
the big
Yeah,
companies.
and it's like thousands of people, and it's scary, and it's a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, it's changed our business for sure. So I think like those are 3 different. I always think of like my life as like 3 different worlds. I've got like my Inman people, I've got my good fellow coaching people, I've got my PubCon people who are a lot more beardy and tattooed than everybody else.
Stratton Group.
Exactly.
And Scott actually spoke at PubCon last year, and he actually went in there. He's like, "These are my people."
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah.
Man gone out in full
Totally.
force.
Yeah. So those are probably the 3 biggest.
I send her in. We're
Conferences?
in on our own. I don't go in.
Yeah.
I don't do the PubCon thing.
No.
The last time I was in Vegas while she was at PubCon, I was like,
3
doing
beers
one of
deep
the
at the
shooting
slide.
range or
Exotic
something
cars
like that.
and-
I was doing something Vegas-y on my own.
So do you go to any conferences without Mel?
God, I wish.
He loves like Realtor Quest,
Oh,
and he's
God,
going to
don't
Nard
out
this
me
year.
on that.
You love it. He is like, oh my God, there's new web forms. But I mean, that's what we need. We need the
Yeah.
operations
Someone
guy
has to, like-
who is excited about the DocuSign and excited about web forms and excited about all that stuff. See, he's
In a lot of
true.
ways, I am more geeky than Mel. She's just
Yeah.
geeky on one specific slice,
Yeah.
which is the SEO web stuff. But when it comes to being like when you say the realtor geek,
Yeah.
that's kind of me.
Oh.
I'm the guy that's like really interested in the new FinTrack.
Like, loves FinTrack. You want to talk FinTrack?
I'm the broker of
Nobody
record
wants to
guy.
talk
I know, like nobody.
Like Larry, who we adore, our broker of record. Nobody gets as excited about FinTrack except for Brendan. Like when something new happens, Larry and Brendan are like, "Oh my God, there's new FinTrack stuff."
clauses and
Like they love that.
my team calls me the CTO because that's just whenever they're like I can't figure out like I don't know
Yeah.
Google Drive is driving me crazy, call Brendan. So whatever it is, that I like that kind of stuff.
So what tech do you
So
guys
no.
use for your team?
I have not gone to any conferences without Mel, but I think that would be an excellent idea. I'm sure you'll find
It
something.
better not be in Hawaii. I'm just gonna throw it. Actually, maybe I could go accompany you.
Yeah, you can go to the
Yeah,
conference.
exactly.
He's at the conference.
That would be fair. I've worked the other way around last time.
Seems like a good idea.
So your question was what
What
tools?
kind of tech do you guys, have implemented?
We use a lot of tools.
Too many.
Probably too many. We use both Google Drive and Dropbox
Yeah.
because
I do that
We
too.
use so
Then you're gonna see a fight right here, right
yeah.
now.
You see it go down.
And then you're gonna see Mac
It's gonna
versus
be a throwdown.
PC.
You got a drink?
Mac
Mac versus PC
is about
and
to go
Google
down.
Drive
All
versus
Mac.
Dropbox. I mean, that is the way to get us going.
So-
Other than like how to load the dishwasher, like there you have it.
Dropbox
This is an
and
happening
Google
right
Drive.
Next level marital fights.
Like
Google
this
Drive
is
versus
like
Dropbox.
if you ever
Google
wonder
Drive
if you should work with
versus
your partner.
Dropbox is the same. It's the same debate that
Naturally.
happens in the second because there are different kinds of brains in the world, right?
Yeah.
There's the Dropbox people and the PC people, and there's the Mac artsy people. And the Google Drive people. The Google Drive is fingers in the ears, huh? Google Drive is designed for the same people that use Macs, which are people that don't know how to file. They just
You've got
they're artists.
I should have warned you not to
They're
go down
artists.
this path.
They're artists. They're the kind of people that if you open up their computer, they have 500 things on their desktop because they don't need to file them
He's
because
talking
the
about
Mac
me
will
right now.
find them by the
I'm a Mac
themselves.
with a clean desktop.
Yeah, you're an
Oh.
anomaly. You're like the
What kind of
you file in
technology
the
do we
folders?
you're
use?
the unicorn.
What
So-
kind of technology do we use?
So Dropbox and
Yeah,
Google
this is about an
Drive
hour.
for different reasons because they have different strengths. Obviously, everything digital when it comes to like paperwork, right? Like our business is around PDFs. So anything that manipulates PDFs, whether it's digital signatures, I mean, DocuSign. We tend to use Docs. We use DocuSign, but there's lots of them. But that's the one we use. And then DocuSign bought Cartavi, which is now called DocuSign Transaction Rooms, which is
Beautiful.
transaction management and paperwork. So I mean, obviously, Adobe is key. So I just anything to do with PDFs and PDF Expert for my iPad is something I use all the time.
You use Mac a bit.
I use all my mobile stuff is Mac.
Yeah.
All my mobile stuff is Apple. But I think like a PC and I know how to fix shit.
Trust me, don't
So,
go here.
Yeah. Other tools we use.
Use contactually.
She uses a ton on Mel's side. She uses a ton of tools for the marketing side of things. Whether, like she mentioned, at Espresso, you've got
Co-schedule.
and co-schedule for because if you're going to be
Social.
doing a lot of social,
Yeah.
and we have a second website that we launched last year
Get what you want in the
for
county.ca.
get what you want in the county.
Check it out.
Which has
Find
its
it
own
in the county.
which has its own Instagram.
Not updated in 3 weeks.
Not updated in 3 weeks,
I
but
got
we'll be doing more
notified.
on that because the county,
Yeah.
Prince Edward County,
Yeah.
county review, is a good example of something where visual works, that people are interested in the visual and the beer and the
Well, that's
food.
what I always say is like agents who work in like those recreational markets especially almost have an unfair advantage on social.
Yep.
And
It's
there's
more
so
sexy and
few
fun,
taking
yeah, yeah.
advantage of it. Like
So for things like co-schedule, we've got now 2 websites and we've got 2 feeds and 2 Instagrams and stuff. So it's even more helpful to have scheduling apps that help us with that. What other tools do we use a lot?
Well, contactually.
Contactually is our
was
CRM.
that new? Because I thought at one point I remember you guys saying you're on Brevity.
No,
Was
we
it
were on
Podio?
We still use Podio, and we are.
We tested Brevity, but we didn't go there.
Yeah, we are probably going to transition out of Podio, but we've been using Podio for years.
Our transition, we just haven't announced it yet. We're transitioning
Until
to
now.
Podio. I know, it's like big announcement, and Podio 6 years later.
So, but Podio has been good. It's very customizable, but it's also it's the usual for anybody in picking tech. You can try the one size fits all and end up with like a broker. What's the one that we use that we dislike that does too much? The CRM.
Top Producer.
Top Producer.
Yeah, that
So
one.
Top Producer, which people love or hate. People go to Top Producer because they're like, it can do everything, and then they get it, and they get into it, and they're like, oh my god, it does everything. And, you know, it's like it's a curse to try to get something that does everything, and then it does too much, and then people are like, oh, but I'd rather have little apps to do specific. This one's a note-taking app, and I like Evernote because it only does this, and I've got this. So you either have 5 apps that do specific things, or you go for the overall, and then you get frustrated because the overall one doesn't do each of those things perfectly. Everybody goes back and forth, right? So. How'd you like that?
The Evernote conversation's been going on since like 8 o'clock this morning, by the way, so don't go there.
Actually, it's funny.
Don't know what she's talking
When I
about.
first started like being like in front of agents, I was branded as like the Evernote guy.
Oh yeah.
So like obviously I changed away from that, but like Evernote was my thing.
And it's still some things that it does better than anything else, and that's always the problem. There is no perfect solution. I mean, like literally, so we do a lot of hot tub meetings. We have a hot tub, and it's a good like relaxing and like spousal time, but talking about business. And this morning, and I was just like, we were having
aggressive
like
hot tub.
we're literally fighting about systems in the hot
so
tub
the next
this
interview we'll
morning.
do it from there.
Yeah, we should.
We should.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
we always have beers in the hot tub. I'm pulling up my phone because I wanted to see what other tools to answer your question.
But we
keep
literally
talking.
have this conversation about there is no one system that does everything we want it to do. Unless we're prepared to build it, which we aren't,
It's a lot of options.
then there is a patchwork and there are going to be some gaps in the system, and that's just the reality. And no team and no realtor, I mean, none of us work the same way, and our markets are different, and everything is different. So, you piece it together the best you can, and you fight about it in the hot tub.
Yeah. Perfect.
We're testing Brokerment right now as a brokerage solution for transactions, but we're still we're testing. We're testing different things.
Launching in like 2 weeks, he doesn't know it.
So
We're launching
this is
it.
the hot tub
This is the
conversation.
option.
Oh yeah.
Here it is right here.
So how often are you guys like testing new tech that comes out?
We usually only do it once a year, so we try to like not introduce a lot of new tech. We're not bright and shiny.
I was gonna say something.
Oh, well,
She's testing all the time.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that's
not
not
fair.
fair. No, she likes to
not
try
fair.
different things. No, that's great because if it was just me, I'd probably be still using all the same.
You'd be on
tools.
top producer.
Wow.
You would be.
She's
I
always
see
picking.
Inventor. It was meant
She likes to test new products.
No one ever gets the sight of us on video like
No,
you.
that's what the
The
beer is
beer.
all
My
about.
mom's gonna
The
love
idea.
it.
Melanie is great. She's restless. She's always looking for the next best thing, and she's not going to adopt all of them. She actually will test them all and pick the ones. She's not bad that way. So if it weren't for Mel, we wouldn't be innovating on some of these tools. There's a bit of pushback because I'm naturally conservative on a lot of those things. So, but that's part of the healthy,
But this is like
healthy back and forth.
Contactually is our second CRM in 6 years. If we move to Brokerman, it's going to be our second task manager in 2 years. So we're not, or in 6 years. So we're not changing all the time. We're testing all the time for sure, but we're not changing all the time. I don't think that's fair.
Other than that, we've got Slack. We use Slack for
love
communication
Slack.
on the team. We all disliked it at the beginning. It wasn't intuitive, but we've gotten ourselves. We finally got the team up and running on Slack. That's exciting. We use Zoom for a lot of. We do a lot of video.
A lot of stuff is new.
Because we're very not video like external facing video, internal facing video. Because we're agents. We're all working from our cars or our second homes or our whatever. I mean, half of them when you go on vacation. Last time we were on vacation last month,
Something
we did a
else is second
ton
house.
of work. We did a ton of work from Mexico. We worked the whole time because this is the world today. You don't need to be physically there for a lot of stuff. So we use Zoom for a lot of multiple calls and team meetings that we don't all need to be there for, which is great because it saves our agents time and us time. It means I can do it from Mexico and they can do it from their house and not have to drive 2 hours each way in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
So we do that a lot. I'm just trying to think of what else.
I mean, we don't do a lot of bright and shiny. I mean, I test out bright and shiny all the time, but it's
So
very
nice.
rare that stuff. I mean, we probably implement stuff like once a year in the kind of first quarter. Other than that, it's usually as it is.
Well, I know like you and I have talked a lot about like, what conferences are you going to this year? Oh, I'm taking a break from conferences this year. I'm just implementing. Then you end up at 3 conferences anyways.
No, I took a year off of conferences and I literally did PubCon to PubCon.
Yeah.
So I did nothing last year. This year I'm being
Back
at
on the
conferences
circuit.
again. Last year I did no speaking, I did no conferences last year.
So which conferences are you going to, besides the one I'm going to make you
Excellent
speak in
question.
June at mine?
Well,
Which conferences are you going to?
Mel's speaking at the AREA conference on Wednesday.
We're speaking at the AREA conference. We're hoping to get a spot at NAR this year.
I just
So
applied
we're
for that.
we're in an application for that.
We were supposed to do
We are
Genuine
hopefully
Hustle.
going to do Genuine Hustle. I think we're going to try to bring Genuine Hustle to Toronto.
Nice.
So that would be cool if we do that.
You've done 2 or 3 of
Other
those
than
now?
that, 6. We've done 6.
6, okay.
What else are we doing? I mean, it's less about having a plan and more about last year, whenever. And you know, when you asked me to speak at something, it was like, no, we're not doing any conferences this year. Because
June,
it was
Colin,
a
what you're
year. It was a year of consolidation and implementation. It was like I have enough ideas. I don't need more ideas. I need to make this stuff happen.
Yeah.
Whereas this year is like, yes, I am open to the right conferences.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll go to PubCon.
Well, you'll go to PubCon.
I'll go to PubCon.
Yes.
Agrees and blood.
Craft. No, I don't need to. I don't need to anymore. Craft beer has now invaded Las Vegas.
Craft
and now
beer
I
is
can
replaced
drink
with
my
beer
way.
supply.
Craft beers all around Las Vegas. Very excited. That took a little while, but now Las Vegas is awash in craft beer.
We didn't go to Inman in New York because I was doing Seth Godin's Alt MBA,
Yep.
which was life-changing and transformational. But I don't know if we'll go to
I'd like to
Inman
do
in
Ant-
San Francisco. We usually like New York better.
We always like New York better. It's close to Toronto too, right? So it's easy. It's more our people. San Francisco, while it's got a lot of great things, the location of the venue, right next to the Tenderloin, it's like we have
Parties
mixed
are better in
feelings.
San Fran then.
That's true. We have mixed feelings about it. So I don't know.
That'll be last minute call.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely not going. Like the week that it's.
So you have baby due that week.
Well, so it's like the conference is on the 20th and she's due the 21st.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do it early. Like we're planning a date. Like, there's no way.
No.
Or that's not.
Okay.
So like they announced the dates because like even if it was August like it usually is, I'm like
Right,
she'll
it's
be a couple
early- yeah,
weeks
it's like
old,
early this
still
year.
no way I'm making it
No.
with a baby like.
And,
I mean,
and
the Alt MBA was, I mean, I literally pulled myself out of the business for 30 days and went to our house in Prince Edward County, gochocounty.ca, and did like 30, 40 hours a week on that. Like it was the most intense month of my life.
I know. I have nothing. I don't get anything from selling their beer.
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Ooh. Affiliate marketing. Smart.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and that was, that's how I started the year, was just this like crazy intense world of ideas and questioning everything I've ever believed. So I think that's gonna, and there's a lot of post Alt MBA world stuff that happens. So I imagine I'll probably do a fair amount of that too. I almost consider that my fourth family. Like if Inman is first and Goodfellas second and PubCon is third, like my fourth family is gonna be the Alt MBA family.
Interesting.
And you're number 5.
Yeah.
You're
There's
the
a
dogs.
distinct order here.
You're the dogs are number
I actually
5.
come below the dogs.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
Well, to be
dogs.
fair, I mean dogs.
Like you've met the dogs. Like
Pretty great.
hello.
So San Francisco is great. Totally change that.
Media training and practice right here.
San Francisco
Redirect.
is one of the great things about San Francisco in theory is that you can go and make a vacation out of it, and that's always nice if you can do a conference and then take some time for yourself. The worst vacation we've ever tried to take was after Inman, San Francisco, because the time difference is horrific for business, and if you're busy and then happening at a busy time and it was last time, the 3 hours earlier means you're always on call.
But we sold like 9 properties in 7 days. Like that was
It was
awesome.
it was a particularly nice complaint.
Awesome.
I'm not going to complain about that. It happened. The avalanche hit that week.
Yeah.
We had
So,
one person who could wine test, one person to be sober for the clients. It was hilarious.
It was traumatic. So we didn't enjoy our Napa wine tour at all because we were working the whole bloody time, right?
Libby Frog. I enjoyed that winery though.
So you're just saying you have to redo an Napa wine tour.
Yeah, but it was traumatic.
Yeah.
It was traumatic because it was so stressful with work that like we'd go to the spa and we tried to do a spa for like 3 hours and you turn on your phone and it just like exploded and it was just like all this crap had hit and it ruined. So any relaxation lasted about 30 seconds. I got outside and it was all over. I was like,
It feels like we've invited people into our house today.
I know.
They're seeing like all the things that we never
this
talked
beer
about.
idea is
You're
a
welcome.
smart idea.
Right?
I like that.
Cheers to that.
'Cause that's like
Well, I
you get
wanted
people
something
talking in a way they
different.
won't
Yeah.
otherwise.
I love this idea. When you told me about it, I was like, love it.
Well, I could have started a podcast, but like everyone's and there's some great podcasts out there, but everyone's doing them. So I'm like, what can I do that's at least different?
Yeah.
The only problem is I can only do so many in a week.
Yeah.
Or even a day, really more as a day. Because like people
Yeah.
are like, especially with the conference this week, people are like, oh, and now because I'm now getting approached me like, can I be on your show?
Right.
And I have 6 people who want to do it on Wednesday. I'm like, I can't do 6 of these on one day.
Well, you
Yeah,
have to be
I know.
so selective,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
we get guest bloggers all the time too. They're just like,
Yeah.
part of me likes it.
So, what else do we need to cover while we're on camera?
So so get what you want in the county. So what made you guys decide that you guys wanted to launch something in Prince Edward County?
Good question.
Good question.
So we like cheese.
Do you like cheese and wine?
And wine.
Not how I expected the answer
I
to
know.
start.
So we've been going
That's how it started.
We've been going to Prince Edward County for years for like the Great Canadian Cheese Festival, which is taking a year off of the county this year. But nonetheless, we go every year. 2 years ago we went. We have a friend who's a realtor there. We're like, okay, if you ask Brendan, it's one story. If you ask me, if it's another. I knew we were buying a house. We were pre-approved for a mortgage. Brendan didn't know. He thought we were going to taste cheese. We go, we buy a house. We don't know like septic tanks and wells and stuff. So we obviously like partnered with somebody there and I hired him to represent us. And we love Prince Edward County. So we spent a lot of time there. And as we kind of went through the process, it was just like, there's no doing anything online about Prince Edward County or really about any of the cottage communities or second home communities in Ontario. And we realized there's an opportunity there because we know digital marketing and we know how to do that. And yet we don't want to be the people who are selling in communities outside of Toronto because we don't know it. So the thinking at the time was, you know, we've got all these clients coming to us wanting to buy here. We know what it was like looking online. There's no information. Let's launch a content site because that's what we do. And we'll partner with local agents to be able to refer business through to them so that our clients or people reading our site are getting the best people to service them, and we're able to provide the information and do what we do. And so that was really the concept behind it. I mean, we spent most of last summer there.
We were trying to answer all the questions
content.
we didn't have answers to ourselves
Yeah.
when we were looking. So we were looking and suddenly we moved there and we had a gazillion questions like any buyer in any market, whereas in Toronto, our whole business is around, like we said, like the first blog posts were all about answering questions people will have about the market and buying. Well, suddenly we were on the other side. We were the people who now had a gazillion questions about buying in a market that we weren't familiar with all kinds of stuff we weren't familiar with. And we were like and we were the people Googling what
area should I buy in?
What area should I buy in? How often do I have to pump a septic tank? Like all this stuff that we don't know.
Once a year, by the way.
We don't know. Well, it depends on but seriously, we were suddenly on the other side of the fence going, I'm Googling my questions and finding nothing. There was not a lot of information. And then we looked at each other and went, wow, there's a real need for this information. I wish, let's make the site that we wish that we had when we were looking. And obviously there's an obvious business twist because as soon as Melanie posted something on our own site saying, ooh, we bought a place in Prince Edward County, you wouldn't believe the people that came out of the woodwork going, I always liked it there. I'd like to, can you help me? Do you know where should I buy? Well, they asked me all the same questions we did. And we're like, let's put this up online. There's clearly a demand. We'll make it easier and it's a fun excuse for us to go and get to know where we bought.
Right off a bunch of brewery trips.
Exactly.
Absolutely. that happened. That
totally happened. Like it was like
because I did a blog on the breweries in the Prince Edward County. I was like, well, there's like 3 of these, 12 breweries I haven't been to. We have to go,
all of them.
and I have to try them all out.
Yeah.
I have to
It was a
take
top 10
pictures,
list. It's only fair.
and I have to write little reviews, and that means that I'm going to write off. It was awesome. So that was kind of fun. It was an excuse for us to get to know where we bought even better.
And we did a soft launch of that site in October. It's been really good because again, small communities, there's not a lot of competition, so it's pretty easy to get to the top.
Is like everyone talks about everyone's doing for instance, if someone's starting in Toronto, there's a lot of people blogging here.
For sure.
But the second you leave, for the most part, major cities, no one's doing it.
So all of you who have markets that are non-big traditional competitive markets, great opportunity.
Right.
If you're in a smallish community or somewhere where there's less competition,
I was thinking
easier to dominate. For sure.
I think you guys want to talk about.
No, actually, Get What You Want in the County, like the website there, was one I wanted to bring up because I believe in it, because it's new and we want to promote it, but also because we want to promote the county because we like it. We live there.
We just bought a second property there.
We just bought a second property there
I
because
live there.
we believe in where it is going, and I want other people to like it too, and also because I think it's a great investment. The neighborhood, like the whole of the county, is on its way up. It's changing for the better for the most part. Tourism is exploding. Wineries, breweries, food scene is going crazy. Yes, property prices are going up, which is good if you're an investor, or is a little more traumatic if you're a traditional resident. So there's the usual.
We were in a bidding war in the county
But,
for a property we bought last month. Like
but it's
second
great.
day on the market, 3 of us.
We love it. We want
to
promote it.
I mean, I think the cool thing about the cruise is since, continuing education.
What?
Let's start that over again. A little beer gun. Continue education. Since so much has changed with continuing education in the industry, there's not a lot of opportunities to go out and learn and be with people, other than like the one-day conferences, which aren't always for everybody. And I think the cool thing about that conference is that you have fun, you're networking off time, and you're still getting some really cool content. And that was really what attracted us to that. Like, I think also I've always wanted to go to cruise. But some of our best conferences, I mean, there was Hawaii Life a few years ago did a conference called Worth Shop. I don't think they still do it. And we all went to Hawaii, and there were about 15, 20 people that we knew there, like some of our Inman friends from the conferences in the US. And the conference itself was great. Yeah. The best was masterminding around the pool. And kind of that not schedule time over wine or over beer, over a pint. I mean, it was amazing, and we all came back with these incredible relationships and these incredible ideas. And it was a different level of sharing, and I think that's what I saw as the opportunity in the cruise, was just that kind of extended sharing where there isn't the pressure to see everything and do everything in one day, but you can kind of like step back, and it's not like it's also not everyday online learning or everyday like all conference learning, because that gets exhausting too. Yeah. I mean, love Inman, but like 4 days in, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I want to die. Yeah. And you're not absorbing anymore. Whereas this was just much more organic, and I think that's how I'm picturing the cruise.
What do we call it?
Poolside mastermind?
Mastermind.
Hot tub mastermind.
Yeah, well,
Let's get hot tubs and cruises.
The idea that everybody was a little bit more easygoing and
relaxed,
and
and smaller groups.
Yeah. Everybody had a topic, and there was a conscious effort. Like, we are going here to sit down and talk about these topics. Like, but it wasn't somebody on a stage and everybody taking notes. It was like, here, have a beer.
And I mean, it's for charity, which is kind of sweet too, right?
Yes,
I mean,
that's true,
I mean, John Ross has done incredible things with being on the roof last year. I mean, you got nominated for one of the Innovator Awards
episode of the
last
show
year.
that's come up so far.
Has it? But I mean, it's amazing. Like, I mean, what he was able to do both as a realtor and somebody who's like genuinely engaged and cares about his community.
That's when.
And I mean, that's what he does best.
That's one of John. I was gonna say that's one of John Ross's real strengths. Is he really cares, and he's gone out of his way to use his superpowers for good.
That's what's interesting about real estate too, is like you see like predominantly in the media like just that really negative view of agents.
It's unfortunate, isn't
but then if you actually look at like the agents who are doing work and actually like getting the job done, they're so involved with the community.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a very small portion of agents, right? I mean, I think
we're in
the
well.
Absolutely. So I think it's the 90-10, right? Like 90 or 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business and 90% of the good. And I think there are some agents that are very engaged in their communities and doing great things and doing great business and being great partners to their clients. And then, there's the middle bit. And then there's some unfortunate people who get all the headlines.
Yeah. Which you wish it was the other way, were the ones doing the good that would get them.
It would be nice.
Yeah, but the world.
But you know what? The people doing the good don't care about the headlines. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think, if you're a realtor and you're involved in your community, if it's coming from a place of wanting to do good, it's going to get you a lot further than the person who's looking for the headline.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's why it works for John Ross. It's not about the headline.
Yeah.
He didn't even know about the Inman Innovator Awards. I called him like, do you realize you got nominated for an Inman Innovator Award? He's like, what?
And he got robbed of winning it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a different story. But seriously, like I think it goes back to what that motivation is, right? If you're doing it for the headline and you're only engaged in your community to get business, it's going to be a very short-term plan. But if you do it because you genuinely care what happened to the people, that can't help but work.
Yeah. Well, it's you could apply that to every part of it. Like, even just like SEO, if you do it for the people,
exactly.
No matter what changes Google makes, it still works.
Exactly.
If you're trying the kind of the underhanded tactics, short-term gain.
And ironically, I think that was the conclusion of some of what we had when the geeks were looking at our site, saying what works, what doesn't. They're so used to like, well, how do we game this and how do we game that? And I think that a lot of what they we sort of concluded was, oh, it's working because you're actually just trying to answer the questions people are asking instead of how many times can I say the word house or whatever game.
And that was like a really cool moment. And I think the only coolest moment to that in the SEO front was with this like new SEO thing that we're doing now. That we had an audit done.
I know where you're going.
And they're American, so they don't know anything about our world. And they're like, okay, so we've been researching this. It's been going on for months, and we've decided that you basically have, and there's no irony in what they're saying. You have one main competitor. I'm guessing you probably heard about them. They're called Realtor.ca.
Who are they?
And I mean, they're like dancing, and that's like, that is my competitor? Like,
and he's like, I can live with that.
You're going down.
Like, that was, I'm like, I'm okay with them winning. I'm totally okay with that. But I think, and I think that's the key, is it wasn't, going out to game the system. It was going out to give cool content to cool people.
Which means that Google is succeeding in what they're trying to do, because they always tell people, stop trying to figure out what we're doing and just deliver what people are looking for. And our whole business is based on trying to figure out how to present to people what it is they're actually looking for. And if you stop playing the games and you do what we're looking for, then you will succeed. So,
and we're actually
that's the idea.
When we're actually not doing some of the recommendations from this company that we're paying a ridiculous amount of money to, because it feels too gamed to us. And we're like, what we're doing is working really well.
Yeah.
So we don't really want to mess with that. We don't want to risk that. There's a lot of things we could do better, but I'm not ready to go down that level yet.
Makes sense.
Cool.
Was there anything else you guys like to talk about?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
I have enough beer now.
I know.
You're out of beer. That's
good.
We're out of beer. I like that we had like extra large beers.
I have backup beer just in case.
All right, so we're good?
Yeah.
All right,
That's
awesome.
cool.
So I'll do like a little outro and...
Sure, we can do an outro. I gotta shake your hand. Thank you for...
Thanks for guys coming on. Thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of Over a Pint. If you want to check them out, getwhatyouvant.ca or Get What You Want in the County.
Both of them.
Check out both. And I'm sure if you leave some comments on this video, that maybe they'll jump in and answer them. Don't steal anything from their website.
Good mod beer.
And check out these beers. They're great. But thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.